Welcome to Paint Radio with your hosts, Andrew Dwyer and Kevin Hoffman.
Paint Radio, the best radio, my favorite radio, the APC podcast. Kevin Hoffman is here. Kevin, how are you?
I'm doing well, Andrew.
I'm Andrew, longtime publisher. Am I bragging to say long time? I guess so, but I have been doing it for 30 years, so I think I'm allowed to. Pardon my narcissistic tendencies, but that's just who I am. Kevin, today we're talking respirators, wall repair, and tape, safety, and surface prep, the triple play. Guess who our guest might be to cover those three things: respirators, wall repair, and tape. You know who it is, everybody. 3M. 3M is our guest today. Not only our guest, 3M came to us, as they have before, Kevin, and said, we want to sponsor an entire podcast, because who cares more about painting contractors? Truly, sincerely, honestly, is there a company out there who doesn't, or who pays more attention to contractors than 3M? I don't think so. So we love it when a manufacturer does this, because it really gives us a chance to dig deep, dive deep, get to know people, humanize the company. It's just fun to talk to people who love what they do. In this case, love the products that 3M engineers. And so that's what we're doing today. And so the people you're going to be hearing from 3M today are Manuel Diaz de Leon, Senior Application Engineer of 3M Home Auto Build and Repair. We also have Jason Lunn, Application Engineer, Advanced Specialist of 3M Safety Products, and Kitty Lung, Application Engineer, 3M Tapes and Masking Systems. So we've got three experts talking about three product categories, really diving in, rolling up the sleeves. Let's start on the respirator side and bring in Jason Lunn. Jason, how are you, sir? Welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Yeah, I'm doing great.
You're always doing well, because how long have you worked at 3M, Jason?
You know, ironically, today is my 15th year anniversary.
Oh my goodness. That's awesome. Congratulations, Jason. Wow. Thanks for spending it with APC. This is fun. Okay, so many things to talk about when it comes to respirators. Let's start with, it's an oldie but a goodie. How should contractors know, what is the sign, the indication that it's time to change a cartridge on their respirator?
Mm-hmm. So that question of when should I change my cartridge on my respirator is one of the biggest questions that we get, because now, as much as we would like to tell people a certain time limit on it, we just can't really do that because of the different types of contaminants somebody may be exposed to, the concentration levels. I mean, little things that people don't think about, like temperature and even breathing rate, really changes how long a respirator can work. So as much as our end users would love us to tell a specific time, we just can't do it. So the way to do it is you need to do an exposure assessment. Figure out what you're being exposed to, figure out those the criteria that I just mentioned, the concentration levels, take that information, put it into a service life software, and then calculate it out. That will tell you how long the cartridge will last for your specific application.
Service life software? I'm sorry, is that what you said?
Mm-hmm. That's what it is, yep. So there's 3M does have one that's out there for people to use. It's 3m.com/SLS, service life software.
Jason, I think most people understand that filters and cartridges are different, are distinct things, but I also think a lot of people use the terms interchangeably. So if you could just give us a reminder of what differentiates filters and cartridges.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, because some people do get kind of confused when we talk about that, because when you have a cartridge, it will sometimes come with a pre-filter that's attached to the top. So there's a difference between a chemical carbon cartridge and a particulate filter. And when we're talking about particulate filters, when you want to change those, it's going to be a little bit easier to remember than cartridges. You go by the 3 Ds. If it's dirty, damaged, or difficult to breathe through. Okay, if it's dirty, go ahead and throw it out. If it's damaged, definitely throw it out. If it becomes difficult to breathe through, throw it out. So, but then when it comes to chemical cartridges itself, that's where it gets a little bit more complicated.
Is there a way that I could tell if I needed to change it? So if I start to smell something weird or taste something weird, I would assume that's some indication that I've held on to it too long.
So be it smelling or tasting something, that is what people used to use years and years ago. But that was changed. We don't want people to wait until then, because if you can smell or taste something, the cartridge is already used up and you're being exposed to what you don't want to be exposed to. So, so we tell people don't wait till then. The other reason why we don't want to have people wait till then, because some people have different levels of sensitivity to smells. You know, some people might smell something a lot earlier. Some people might not smell something at all. And then thirdly, there's chemicals out there that you can't smell at all. So you'd be waiting a long time and probably be exposed to it. So that's why we don't wait until then. Now, if you do smell or taste something, don't disregard that. There's something wrong. Probably the cartridge could be used up, or you could have a leak around the respirator. So if you do smell or taste something, leave the job site, change the cartridges to be on the safe side, and then check the seal of the respirator, make sure you have a good seal.
Are there any indications to know what you have been exposed to? I mean, I guess in some cases, obviously, you know where you're working. And so there's some obvious ways to know, I'm working specifically with this product and this risk. But other than that, the most obvious and direct way, how would a user know what they're being exposed to?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question, because a lot of people don't realize what could be in the products that they're using. So I say to start off with looking at the safety data sheet, the SDS of whatever product, spray paint or varnish or what have you. That will tell you in there basically the ingredients that are in that product. So that's a great starting point. Now you can take that and use 3M's respirator selection guide. It's a PDF that's online, 3M respirator selection guide. Search in there for those ingredients, and it will tell you the type of respirator that you could use for that type of ingredient, as long as you're below 10 times the occupational exposure limit. But that's a great way to start off. The other thing, you should be doing a hazard assessment as well. Get a professional in there to find out what you are being exposed to. That will tell you the concentration levels of what you're being exposed to, which then you can utilize for that service life software. And people can do that. OSHA does have a free consultation, free service. Go on and find that. I know people can be a little leery of calling OSHA to come onto their job site, but don't worry about it. They're not there to give out citations or anything like that. They are there to help you out. So I highly recommend OSHA's free consultation. They will help figure out what you're being exposed to.
And so once you figure out, these are the kind of chemicals I might encounter, is there specific cartridges for each different possible chemical? How do you select, or is it one size fits all basically?
Yeah, that's a common misconception. I've heard people think that a carbon cartridge can work for all types of different chemicals, but that's not true. These cartridges are designed to take out certain or specific chemicals, or a group of them. So we have organic vapor cartridges. We have cartridges for organic vapors and acid gases. There's also cartridges out there for, even more specific things like ammonia and formaldehyde and things like that. So I recommend people to look at the packaging of what the respirator they're purchasing, or the replacement cartridges, and make sure that they have the right cartridge for the contaminants they're going to be exposed to.
Listeners may remember, Jason, last time you were on the podcast, you talked about how sometimes you are known to stop. You're driving by maybe a job site and you see an opportunity to improve someone's safety, and you it's your 15th anniversary, so you tend to have products in the trunk, as I recall you mentioning. How is the supply of products in your trunk looking these days?
I still have a good supply of products, because I'm always passionate about the products, and I want to teach people the correct and proper ways to use them.
Okay, let's head over to the abrasives and wall repair side. You remember Manuel Diaz de Leon. Welcome back to the podcast, Manuel. How are you?
I'm good, Andrew. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to see Kevin and yourself again. Uh, it's a great opportunity to, just talk.
You're very kind, Manuel, and yes, that is absolutely what we love about this. It's what we said up front, that the opportunity to sit down with 3M pros and just talk, as you said. And there's so many things to talk about. Let's start with good old lightweight spackle as opposed to not lightweight spackle. So what, if you were to explain, Manuel, the benefits of lightweight spackle, what would you say? What are they?
So that's a great question. Let's remember how usually spackle is made. It's generally made out of gypsum, vinyl, and some other fillers. But the main ingredient, aside from those, would be water. So that would make general use spackle or conventional spackle almost as heavy as water. In metric units, that would be a kilogram per liter. And standard heavy spackle tend to behave like that. Since it has a lot of water, it will take quite a while to completely dry it out. And the curation process, that's how we call when spackle loses its moisture, it's an exothermal reaction. That is, it creates heat. And since heat is being released into the mix, spackle will tend to change size because of the heat. And that size change, first swelling during the curing process and then shrinking back when that process is over, will create sometimes cracking or separation from the border of the repair where we are applying the compound. When we talk about lightweight spackle, in general, what makes it lightweighted, sometimes it will be half as heavy as regular spackle, is that we are taking out some water content and replacing it with some additional fillers. In the case of the products for wall repair by 3M, we are replacing that water with tiny, really tiny microglass beads that makes the mix a lot harder, but also since it's replacing weight of water, the curing process will not release as much heat as a regular product, and the change in size will be minimum. That means it will not crack, it will not separate from the border of the repair, it will dry a lot faster when compared 3M wall repair products against a regular vinyl spackle. It can drive up to 3 times faster. What yields in faster repairs, you're ready to paint in a less amount of time than using, like joint compound or any other regular wall repair product. So I'd say those would be the main benefits. Lightweighted means less water, means less change in size. That turns out to be less cracking, less sagging, faster drying, faster curing. And I'd say those things are kind of important when you are, not filling just one hole here and there, but you are doing like an entire house. Time does matter, right?
Absolutely. Does lightweight spackle have like the same strength and adhesion as the regular spackle?
Oh no, well, at least 3M products are way more stronger than regular vinyl spackle. But not only that, since we are adding, these fillers and other composites into it, we are also adding primer, for example, and that helps a lot. The end user will not have to prime after repairing a wall and sanding the excess away. And in the final result, it will flash less than other products that are out there, when applying that first layer of paint.
I know all of our listeners already have an opinion, probably a relatively educated opinion on this next question, but definitely interested to hear your expert opinion, Manuel, when it comes to painting or priming of spackle. Is it your preference that spackle be primed before painting?
Well, that's for precisely what I just described. Our product has already primer, so for most colors, brand paints, I'd say priming is not necessary for general purpose or small repair. Usually, priming it's held for almost any surface. Overall, when you are applying a lighter color than what you already have in the wall. But in this case, for most applications, I'd say priming is not necessary. And I even go as far as say that if you are, skilled applying the wall repair compound, even sanding may not be necessary with our products.
Wow, that'll save a lot of time. I've noticed with the lightweight, there's a little bit of a different feel to it, a little bit of a different texture. Can you tell me why it feels a little different?
Oh, for sure. As I said, regular wall repair compound, it tends to be heavier, and the feeling while applying it is not like entirely gypsum, it's not entirely vinyl mix, it's something in between. And the thing that I hate about some products is that it will kind of stick to itself, and you are applying it against the repair, let's say a regular hole, and when you press with a potting knife, like you think it's the final stroke, right, against the surface, but it turns out it's separate from the border, and then you have to go again, different direction, or even apply more product, just work against the surface, and eventually it's kind of frustrating, and you can't get done kind of the first try. And when using lightweight spackle, that tends to be different, but not for all of them. Have you guys ever iced a cake? I mean, like, put icing in a cake?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so that and merengue, and I love saying merengue because such a Latin American word. So those are the textures you don't want in your lightweight spackle, and most lightweight spackles behave like that. It will stick it with itself a lot, but not in a good way, like leaving some kind of texture, like the icing when applied to a cake. You can see those tiny points. You know what I'm talking about? Like really small points when it comes out of the dough, and this weird texture, and it will sag. Sometimes it will sag because it's lightweighted, but it is not cohesive. I don't know what else to describe it. When using a good cohesive lightweighted product, applying experience is very different. Most times 2-3 strokes tops will be enough to render a acceptable finishing. If you want to go a step forward, you can get your potting knife a little wet and do one more. For most products, that will not be the case. This icing like feeling to it is not desirable. May I say, I don't like it, and I'm guessing most of the people that is listening to us right now have experienced a product that is like that. But print products are not like that, and that is why we kind of put a lot of attention in how the feeling and the user experience is whenever they use our products. Trying to be very conscious about performance, but also about the customer experience.
You know, based on that response, I'm guessing that Manuel knows his way around a kitchen. And as much as I want to go down that rabbit hole, I'm going to control myself and not go off on a tangent. I'm going to stick to the topic at hand. So let's talk about how to keep, patching products in the best condition possible once they've been opened. And I know 3M is especially, I know you're proud of everything. I would say I get the impression 3M is very excited about its high strength wall repair compound. So let's use that as an example, Manuel. What's your expert opinion on how a contractor, once you open that product, what's the best way to keep it in good condition?
That is a good question. I'd say one of the most relevant feedbacks that I've heard from our end users is that our container is great. I mean, square shape definitely tells it apart from other brands. But the thing is, I'm being very sincere and very realistic about it. The leads does not seal as well. For VM products, the way to store them once they're open, as best practice, is getting a paper towel, damp, and then fold it, put it on top of the product, and then put the lid on top again, like closing it. And that way, it will keep the product moist for longer. For blue to white, it will keep it blue as intended when being stored away. I'd say that would be the best advice. I will also say that we are aware of that, and we are trying to find the best way to renovate that packaging for it to be even more useful. But in the meantime, this is a really good solution that anyone can do to store the wall repair product away, and it will be preserved in the best possible condition.
I'm ashamed to admit that I have some 3M high strength wall repair compound that does not have a damp cloth in it. So I'm letting it go natural. So thank you for that tip. That's a brilliant tip. I'm going to change that as soon as we get off this call. Now, I always have to ask, I know it's dicey. I'm a reporter. I want to scoop. What can you tell me about 3M abrasives? You got anything interesting coming out in 2025 I should be aware of?
Well, we just launched recently our 3-in-1 Pro-Grade Precision sanding sponge, which combines three of the more useful features of our previous product. We have those dust channels that we all enjoy using it to control dust and extend the life of the sponge. But now they come in a honeycomb pattern. Unlike the diamond-shaped pattern that we used to have, there's also an angle for detailing, and the abrasive power that premium heat-treated aluminum oxide bring to the table when we talk about Pro-Grade Precision. I'd say that's the most recent launch that we have made. Still, we are constantly trying to innovate, finding ways to make more useful and best performing products. We're working stuff. Maybe it's too early to say, but there will be some surprises soon.
Manuel, we have a massive workforce here at APC, and my researchers tell me that apparently 3M has, I think they're new, but some videos on YouTube that are relatively new. What can you tell us about those?
Oh, for sure. So we have had a YouTube channel for quite a while. It's called Painter's Tape, a channel on YouTube. You can look it up. It has really interesting content around all the products that we have for space renovation and construction, masking tapes, painter's tapes, masking systems, all that very useful information. Some of them created it specifically for the YouTube channel. Some of them taken from TV shows or other events that we have been participating on. But this new content that you are referring to, it's special because it's created by us, specifically the application engineers. So we have been publishing our videotaping, voice overing, and acting abilities intensively, so we can deliver an acceptable video that everybody will want to see and learn from. Just now, there's new videos on wall repair, specifically the all-in-one application tool for wall repair. And another thing that we are trying to bring to the table on these videos is that they're available in English and Spanish. These new videos will be in both languages. I'm doing the voiceover for some of them. Me as a Latino person, think that it will make a huge difference to have both languages available. And on just one final comment on that topic is more products and more videos are being created right now. We have been using spaces just like the one in the back of me. We can replicate different spaces around the house, like kitchens, living rooms, bathrooms, and we are leveraging on those spaces to create these videos to make them as real as possible, but also as neat and high quality recorded as possible.
Well, we're huge fans of the Spanish language. We just, in fact, 3M was a big supporter. You can see a good amount of information from 3M in the APC in Espanol, the Spanish language version of APC that we first launched last year. So the second edition of that is coming out in just a couple weeks. So if you don't subscribe to that, that's a separate subscription from APC. Go to paintmag.com and you can subscribe to that too. Kevin, this is why we love these types of podcasts, because to be able to sit down with a 3M application engineer, you just hear things that you're not going to hear anywhere else, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely leaving with a few tips.
Let's move on to tape. Let's bring in Kitty Lung. Kitty, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you, Andrew, and hi, Kevin.
Hi, Kitty.
So very exciting. Obviously, lots of people know 3M for their tape. And you've got a new tape out very recently called Pro Sharp. Everybody loves new products, especially a new tape. So, Kitty, tell us about Scotch Blue Pro Sharp Painter's Tape.
Yes, definitely. This is our newest tape right here. I have a sample of it. Pro Sharp is actually our newest tape in the painter's tape category. Actually launched earlier this year, back in January. So it's an acrylic-based adhesive tape that has a smooth professional grade paper that basically create a multi-layer barrier that help prevents paint seeping and deliver sharp paint lines over surfaces like drywall. You'll have trims, baseboard, tile, and even glass. So the acrylic base adhesive on the Pro Sharp painter's tape is actually stable. So even against sunlight, so Pro Sharp can be removed without adhesive residues for actually up to 21 days. So 21 days, even outdoors. And this definitely a significant difference among other painter's tape. So that's our greatest and newest Pro Sharp tape.
And it sounds pretty new, but I'd be interested. What are painters using this for? What projects do they seem to be getting great results with?
That's a great question, Kevin. So this tape is actually designed for both indoor and outdoor projects. It actually provides 2 times better hold than our original edge lock technology. So we're sealing out paint to leave consistently sharp paint lines across multiple paint types, but also finishes. So as I said, like you can protect drywall, trim, baseboards, and even glass windows. So it's a very versatile painter's tape that can stay on surfaces for 3 weeks, and then you can remove it easily without leaving residues behind. So it's just a reminder for ProSharp, but also like our painter's tape categories. If we have surfaces like painted, I would say like finished hardwood floors, wallpaper, veneers, or even cabinets, those surfaces are still better served with our Scotch Delicate painter's tape. So this is just a general reminder for different categories of our tapes at 3M.
You know, so I mentioned at the beginning that I've been at APC for 30 years now, and I used to be the editor-in-chief. Kevin is now the editor-in-chief. And so, you know, we received the press releases from 3M, and I can remember when I started, you know, I might have thought some press releases were written with a marketing bent. And then I learned just how seriously manufacturers, we're talking about all manufacturers, not just 3M here, how much time and effort and specificity goes into these press releases. And so, you know, we noticed that now 3M is referring to EdgeLock Plus technology, whereas previously 3M referred to EdgeLock technology. So now it's EdgeLock Plus. Kitty, do tell. What accounts for the plus? What is the advancement in innovation of EdgeLock Plus technology?
No, that's a great question, Andrew. So EdgeLock Plus technology is actually built on our current EdgeLock technology. So basically, you're combining the right adhesive with the right backing. So we're developing actually a system where it's capable of locking out paint. So if we compare, let's say, the EdgeLock Plus to the EdgeLock, the original one, it's the EdgeLock Plus is actually designed to provide 2 times the holding power to better seal out the edge. So painters and actually DIYers use it a lot, and they will experience sharp lines, increased holding power, and also a strong backing consistently over different surfaces, different paints, but also different environments compared to our previous Scotch Blue sharp line products.
So Katie, how does ProSharp compare to the other tapes that 3M makes?
Great question. So tapes are unique, as you know, each has its own features, especially for 3M tapes. We try to tailor each tape to its application categories. So what's the right tape for the right job? But we also want to understand the surfaces, the environments, and also like if we're putting it inside or outside and how long actually the tape will be on. So for the overall painting experience, tape is a huge part of the preparation. ProSharp tape, our newest tape, is actually our sharpest line yet in the Scotch Blue portfolio. Our team developed this tape to provide both DIYers and pros with an improved but also versatile option for everyday use home improvement painting application. It can be applied to a variety of substrates, and it's actually suitable for indoor and outdoor application also. So additionally, it offers performance, but also quality, particularly in terms of the sharpness of the paint lines. And we want our customers to actually recognize the improvements that we've made so far to our tape portfolio. So just a little bit of information on the 2 times actually better hold is actually a way to describe our adhesive that is stronger, but in stronger holding power. So ProSharp holds stronger to the wall than tapes that use the original EdgeLock technology. So if you recall, we used to have our 2093 Sharp Lines tape, which actually ProSharp is replacing. And this tape, ProSharp, is actually a 21-day clean release. So our tapes actually hold strong for the 21 days, and it still comes off cleanly. both indoors and outdoor. And then we know that like other tapes actually have lower days clean removal, but also vary in the number of days of indoor versus outdoor. So we would like to think our ProSharp tape as a 21-day tape, but also a 21-day window that gives ProSharp users the opportunity to tackle projects that might take longer. So for example, 21 days, so that would be over 3 weekends if needed.
It's funny because I was wondering who would leave it up for 21 days, but then when you put it as 3 weekends, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Kevin matches his time, measures his time by weekends, like many of us do. You know, and I have to put in a plug here for APC because this the new ProSharp, if you receive APC magazine, which good Lord, people, I hope you do. It's a free magazine. It's the only magazine where every page deals with running a better painting business. So if you don't get the magazine, go to paintmag.com and subscribe. It's free. But on the May-June issue, the beautiful top job issue, there's a 3M belly band celebrating and announcing the arrival of ProSharp. Kevin's holding it up. It's gorgeous. It looks beautiful. There's nothing like a belly band. This is me. I'm a hardcore print guy. I love magazines, and man, that looks good. But I digress. Kitty, before we hit record on this podcast, we were talking a bit, and you were mentioning about how you attend pro shows and trade shows. That's got to be, I would assume, fun, fascinating, interesting to interact with end users, in our case, painting contractors. And I'm sure you never know what kind of question you're going to get, but you talked about how, 3M has quite a wide variety of tapes, some of which are very specific in their use, and some tapes are discontinued because they're sort of replaced by other tapes that one would assume is an improvement on the previous one. So do you get questions from contractors, from painters saying, hey, whatever happened to XYZ tape? I can't find that anymore.
Yes. So a lot of end users are really interested on actually what's new. So that is one of their top questions that show up when we go to events. So I would say that like we get a lot of questions on, I would say, what's new, not only on the tape portfolio, but also like they're interested at 3M on like other products. So they've been doing projects, they want to learn more. But at the same time, while they're sharing their stories, we as 3Mers, we actually learn from them also, like the tips and tricks that our pro painters are doing. So a lot of learning on both sides.
We as 3Mers, I like how you put it like that, Kitty. And yeah, I can imagine that's true because I have the same sentiment, right? It's there aren't many companies like 3M that produce such a wide variety of products. And so, yes, I can imagine when a pro painter gets the opportunity to talk to a 3Mer, I bet many of them are curious to learn more to what goes on at 3M. How do you generate all these products? Well, I want to thank everybody at 3M. We've covered respirators, abrasives and wall repair, tape, fabulous stuff. There's nothing more important than surface prep. We love that 3M loves to talk about this stuff. Thank you for coming on and giving us the opportunity to pick your brain, to hear about what's new, as you said. So thank you again, Jason Lunn, Manuel Diaz de Leon, and Kitty Lung. Great stuff. And of course, if you want to learn more about 3M, website is 3m.com. Yes, they produce a ton of products. Spend some time on that website directing you to the various categories, whether it's tape, whether it's abrasives and wall repair, respirators, safety. It's all there waiting for you. Speaking of all there waiting for you, we at APC generate a lot of content as well, daily content on every platform you can think of to help all of you run a better painting business. It all starts at paintmag.com. Subscribe to the magazine there. Subscribe to the e-newsletter. You'll find all of our podcasts, including excellent ones we've done in the past with 3M. So Thank you for listening to Paint Radio. 3M, thank you for coming on and sharing all your new developments with us. Very exciting, very helpful stuff. Everybody, thanks for listening to Paint Radio. We'll see you next time.